And it was great, right? But not one time did he say, I'm not going anywhere. All he did was talk about how happy he is and how great it is in Colorado. And I think that's sincere. He did not tell a lie, though, and say, but I ain't going nowhere. We've heard coaches say that before. Oh, I'm staying here. I'm under contract. I'm not going anywhere. It's a bunch of lies, all that.
Landing for Oregon, that was the big thing. He's like, I'm here.
He did none of that, and that's what you should do. When they're in the hunt for the college football playoff, no one will feel bad. The players won't be like, man, coach is out of here. That was good. I think Dallas is a great spot for him. Obviously, Michael Irvin, we know who he got his information from. And so if Deion wants to go there with Shedeur, I've said it.
The Shedeur.
Well, that's the part we have to separate.
Well, I will say this, and I agree, because I think maybe if they say we're just going to keep Dak, the question now becomes, would Deion want to coach? Would he be as enthused about coaching the Cowboys without Shedeur? Because if he would, I still think he's the guy.
Here's the thing. In all likelihood, Deion's not going to be able to coach Shedeur in the pros. In all likelihood.
Well, I think there's one. Don't you think, to me, the place that looks like they could get both is the Raiders?
Well, then Shedeur, listen, then Shedeur's got to fall in the draft. Right now.
The Raiders could get the first pick.
Right now, they have the 5th. You're right, they could. My point is, teams, Tennessee, they just hired their head coach. Cleveland, they like Stefanski. He's won Coach of the Year twice. The Giants, I suppose, maybe, but that would be the Giants going Deion and Shedeur would be a big departure from the entirety of Giants history as far as coaching quarterback. So I just think it's unlikely. I am fine with having the Deion coaching the Cowboys discussion. I find the Shedeur Sanders being drafted by the Cowboys to be fan fiction that the media is inflaming. Right now, the Cowboys have the 9th pick of the draft. When we talk about the Cowboys' issues, we list 10 of them before we say quarterback. They just re-signed Dak. If they were to move off him next year, it's $100 million dead. You can split it up. Then it's I wrote that down. If they move off him a year from now, then it's $60 million dead. You can split that up. But again, he has a no trade clause. You just re-signed him. And in order to get Shedeur Sanders, again, we don't know how the draft's going to fall, but you would almost assuredly have to trade multiple things. The Cowboys are not a team that is in a position to trade multiple things. They're a team that we talk about needing all these things.
Yeah. Let's talk about this, man. I mean, this is such a crazy story. I don't even know what I'm rooting for, honestly, from just an entertainment perspective. I do not believe Shedeur and Deion together in Dallas is going to make Dallas better. I think that has the potential to just absolutely explode and cause significant issues and be a distraction. Like I've said before about this, I forget what other team it was with regards to, but people are not there. Other NFL athletes, teammates, they're not there for someone else's story. They're there for their own story. They're their own main character. So if you think a big wide receiver, running back, whatever it is going to want to be part of Deion and Shedeur, that insane circus that will absolutely happen in Dallas if they are together, nobody's really going to want that. Micah is he's his own superstar in his world. He's not trying to exist in Shedeur and Deion's world. And that's what it would just be all 100% Sanders on Sanders. And it would be exhausting for every other player involved. Every other player involved. It's already exhausting being with Dallas because of the circus that it is. And this will make it 100 times worse. The constant battling with the media, the sound bites from Shedeur. I mean, it'll just be heightened. It'll just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It really will. And to think that Deion and Shedeur will just somehow magically save the Cowboys from Jerry Jones as well. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And also, right, they just signed Dak. So if let's say they want to move on from Dak, let's say that's actually what they want to do, then it just goes to show you how badly run and confused and delusional this franchise is to sign the quarterback, Dak Prescott, to the most amount of money in the history of the NFL, and then a few months later say, nope, never mind, we made a mistake. We're going to get Shedeur Sanders now. Like, you understand, like, that's insane? If this was their plan all along and they didn't sign Dak, then you can make the argument. But the fact that they then gave Dak all the money in the world, and then you're going to say, well, now we're going to try to hire, like, it just doesn't really make sense. It really doesn't. Then they should have tried to move on from Dak last offseason and say, bro, you're going to be benched. Let's trade you. Waive your no-trade clause. We're going to send you to somewhere where you want to go, but maybe it's Las Vegas. Hey, they got some action there, but you're not going to play at all. So that's what's happening. Because then they could have sold the farm. They essentially could have moved on from important pieces and got the number 1 overall pick, tank, so to speak, and then gotten Shedeur and hired Deion. It wouldn't have been too hard, actually. So this whole thing, like, in terms of Nick calling it fan fiction, it's a little rich considering Nick is the one that tried to tell everyone how good Dallas Cowboys are going to be, right? And they're going to be good. They're going to be a top team in the NFL. Saying, well, that's not true. That was some fan fiction. But, yeah, so if they want Deion now as the head coach, and then Shedeur goes somewhere else, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even want to waste too much time on this, honestly, just because it is speculation, but also I do believe that Deion wants to be in the NFL. That guy obviously sees himself as larger than life, and he knows college is not the NFL. He also has an insane belief in himself, so he wants to go to the NFL and be a head coach there. We know he's willing to move. We know he's also willing to say one thing and do another. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think, like, what makes it more interesting? What makes it more kind of crazy? And honestly, the idea of him going to the Raiders and having his son there as well sounds fascinating, just because of Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City and Peyton and Knicks and Herbert. Like, that makes that division just, like, insane at that point, honestly. Like, that, it really does. But I'm curious how Dallas Cowboys fans feel. Like, would you want this? Do you want Deion Sanders to be the head coach? And do you want Shedeur Sanders? Like, that's I honestly want to know that first and foremost. Like, how do Dallas Cowboys fans feel about this conversation at all? Like, where are your guys' mind at? Like, how do you feel about it? Because that's honestly what I want to know more than anything. And especially, of course, the handful of OG Dallas Cowboys fans that I got on here, definitely please let me know, because it's just like, I don't even know if I even take this conversation seriously, honestly. I really don't. And it just seems like, I don't know. It seems kind of absurd. This feels closer to, like, being like, do you want to have Kim Kardashian be a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys, or like Taylor Swift with Kansas City? Like, it just feels more absurdity than actual, like, fundamental, grounded football actions to take. It just feels more fantasy than anything. And so that's why I'm just curious how, like, actual real Cowboys fans feel about this. Like, would they want this? If this was an actual possibility, if they could make it happen today, would they want it? That's what I want to know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.